Hi everyone, Angelina, Sparkling Diva, and another pick a card reading. This one is you know that there's a lot of fear and stress and frustration, anxiety whizzing around with the current situation with the pandemic. And I decided to do a reading to find out just 3 cards how you can best deal with this or behave, act, or what you can best do in order to get through this without it affecting you too much, right? Maybe you yourself have fear and are in anxiety and stress. That's also possible, of course. Maybe not, but it's still. I am not myself either, but I do notice that other people's frustration and stress and anger and all that stuff is so strong, collectively so powerful, that it does affect me anyway. Right? It's even though I'm not in touch with a great many people, but you can't avoid it at the moment. It seems to be in the air. It's all over social media. Even if you try to avoid it, it's almost not possible, right? And people are getting more rude and unpleasant towards each other as well now that there is a vaccine. I'm not going into all that. I'm also not going into any health issues. But I'm just going to look at how you can best behave or what you should do in order to get through all this as best as you can, and maintaining your energy levels as best as you can, right? That's what I'm going to focus on. So 3 choices. I put the goddesses in front of the cards for you to choose from. They're all 3 are different. As you, the shape is different, right? And as you can see, I hope, because it's evening and it's a bit dark, this one's got a spiral here as well. And she doesn't have her arms up, and the other 2 do, and they're entirely different. Also, the enamel stand that they're on is a different color. This one is more bluish, and the one in the middle is a bit golden yellow, and this one is a red. So just choose and pause if you feel you have to, and then I am going to start the reading. Right, numbers 1. Adjust your sound level if necessary as well. I haven't got a clue really. I have a new phone, and I always record with my phone, and I have a new one, it is possible that the sound levels are now a bit higher than before. I don't know. And if that would be so, I also don't know how to change that. Anyhow, we're going to start. Your first card is basically what you should do most, or right? And that's this card. It's a solar plexus card. And the solar plexus is the chakra that also, it does a lot of stuff, of course, but it is also where you connect to the environment. And it's also the chakra that tends to absorb fear, negativity and fear. So it might be good. We have boundaries, right? Personal boundaries and choice, assertiveness, empowerment, and authenticity. So boundaries are very important for you. And in a way, that's quite logical, right? Because if your boundaries are strong and healthy, it helps to keep other people's anxiety and negative emotions out of your system. It might be necessary to regularly check in with your own solar plexus to cleanse it, to calm it, just to work with it, and to maybe strengthen your boundaries, right? So you have to keep an eye on it. I think you have to regularly do that. You may not do that, you may not think you need to do that, but it might actually be helpful if you did check in on it regularly, right? And cleanse it and all that stuff. Get rid of any negativity. if you don't know how to do that, you can look on online, Google it, and because there's so many ways to do that. I can't go into that all. But that is really very important. And also make sure that through time, because it's been going on for as good as a year now, right? This entire situation. And well, it's not over yet. I do think it's going to be at least another couple of months before it might get a little bit better. So we haven't seen the end of it, so it takes a long time, right? And maybe in the beginning you were quite strong and your boundaries were strong, but I do think it's important that you pay attention to them, that they don't weaken over time, right? Because the more the stress and negativity that is whizzing around is basically knocking on your boundaries, at some point, if you do not maintain these boundaries, they might just break down. Right? Or it can also be that you are in fear, for instance, and that you are or have become too rigid yourself behind your boundaries, that you made them too small as well, right? Allow them to sort of cave in on you. And your boundaries, okay, there is personal boundaries, energetic boundaries, etc., etc. But if we talk about your aura is a boundary, right? That should be at least an arm's length away from your body, from your physical body, all the way around. Above you, below, don't forget below, and all the way around, right? But the personal boundaries, yeah, that's also more from the inside out, right? That you keep strong and tapped into your inner strength, and yeah, that. And well, that actually helps keep your aura intact as well, of course. It's all connected. What can get you through it, also through fear and negativity and so on, and this entire period, basically. We have a heart chakra card, we have connection, and then it says universal oneness, love, interconnection, and support. It's important for you to keep in mind, to remember, to feel in your heart that there is a higher purpose to this all, and to keep feeling and knowing and sensing that in spite of whatever is going on, that we are all connected, and also that there are plenty of other light workers out there who are trying to do the same thing, try to keep their own energies high, keep their boundaries strong, and keep tuning into love and higher energies and love and all that stuff, and knowing that we are connected and that everything is connected and that everything is going to be okay, and so on and so forth. Basically not losing yourself in desperation and fear, right? Feel and know that there is this universal oneness, and well, that everything is always in divine order as well. If you keep focusing on things like that, on things that have to do with love, that come from the heart, and connection is part of that as well, right? Then you will do much better. You will feel much better. Your boundaries will be much stronger as well, and you will not drown in the negativity that's going around, or maybe drown in negativity yourself at some point, right? Keep that higher connection. Keep feeling that higher connection. Take time every day to do that, right? Maybe just a brief meditation. If you do that regularly, you do not have to meditate for an hour, right? If you maybe just take 10-15 minutes to do that, that's enough. The more you do that, the stronger that muscle, let's call it a muscle, will get, right? So it's very important. Really, that's really very important to keep seeing, knowing, and feeling and sensing that there still is love, there still is connection, nothing is lost, stuff like that. That's important to get you through this without crumbling. And I think that most of you who chose this set actually were in that position when this all started. So make sure you do not lose that. Now your last card is we have is magic. I have to put on my reading glasses to read that. Isn't that something? Shift your focus to a positive view. So basically, there it is again, right? Feel the magic and know there's still magic. Know that there is nothing is lost. The world isn't broken. The world isn't going to pieces, and life isn't going to pieces, even though it might seem that way sometimes, Don't focus on that. Shift your focus to a positive view. We are all interconnected. Isn't that funny, right? It comes up again. Connection, interconnected. Linked by a magical thread. Believe in yourself. You have magic in you. So yeah, I find that a beautiful confirmation of this card actually. But also in that sense that you can do that. You can. You can lift yourself up to a better positive vibration if you ever happen to drop down, have your vibration and energy levels go down the drain. You have it within you. You have the ability. You are strong enough to get yourself up again, to get yourself on a higher plan. And keep focusing on that stuff as much as you can. All the stuff that I mentioned here, and that has to do with all that, right? The interconnectedness, the connection with people, and focus on that as much as you can. If you still have, connections with certain people, whether that's family or friends, or maybe spiritual people online, really take the time to feel that connection and what it brings you, and get into your heart space. Breathe from the heart, right? Breathe in and out from the heart. Get into your heart breath. It helps your heart open up, and it's all so important. And then it's also much, much easier if you can. I can feel that happen. Even as I'm telling you about that now, I can feel that happen, that my heart is softening and opening up a bit and all that stuff. And if you're able to do that, then your boundaries will also come much easier, and they will be stronger. So this is all I have for you, and I hope it is helpful. And I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Okay, numbers 2. Your first card is a sacral chakra card, or navel chakra, I should say. And this is on how you should, what you should do or behave, etc., to get through this fearful period. That's the first thing. And we have for you sexuality, openness, sharing, beauty, and honor. Now, this is, of course, sexuality, right? That's the name of the card. But there's more to it. Sexuality is closely linked to, it is. It's not closely linked to, it is sacred life force. So it's very, very important. It's your passion, it's your fire, it's your way of expressing yourself, because sexuality, sex, is also expressing yourself. And not vocally, but through the body, with the body, right? It's also very important to be authentic. I don't think I need to explain that, right? If you're not authentic during sexuality, well, then the quality of your sex life isn't going to be all that great, and you might actually even get hurt by sexuality if you're not open and honest. So it's really very important. It's about your emotions. It's about being authentic. It's about expressing yourself authentically, right? It's about relationships and connections and so on and so forth. It's very, very important. And it's the sacred life force. And without that, you can't do much in life, really. It's what drives you. It's your passion. It's your creative inspiration and all that stuff. And maybe you have lost touch with that. It can also be that you lost touch with your body a little bit, because maybe we're all in a situation, unless you have a family living with you or a partner, that many people don't get touched so much anymore at the moment. Maybe you can't be with your lover at the moment, or not so often. Maybe you're suffering from lack of being touched. That it doesn't have to be that way. It can also be that you lost touch with your body because of what's going on. Maybe you're afraid or stressed or uncertain, doubting how things are going to go, maybe about your income, your job, or whatever, I don't know. And anything that is stressful can actually get us out of sync with our bodies. And in a way, I feel it's important for you to work with that, to work with your, if that resonates, right, to touch yourself. Not sexually, I'm not talking about sexually per se. Although if you feel like that, I mean, who am I to say do not do that, right? But I'm not getting at that. I'm getting at touching yourself, just stroking your arms, your hands, feeling your body, and maybe just move your hands and fingers through your hair, over your head slowly, and over your face, and really the way a lover would touch you, but just because he loves you, that way. And then do that slowly and really enjoy it and feel, your body react to that, to your own touch. Is so incredibly important. Maybe you do know how important it is to you, and that's more emotionally. It is different, right? If you're in love and your lover touches you, puts his hand on your knee or strokes your thigh or your hair, and the way that feels, well, it's equally important to do that yourself, to give that to yourself, and we hardly ever do that. I feel for you that's really important. I think that will help you ground and stabilize in your body, anchor you in your body, and with that will make you calmer and stronger to deal with it all. And the other part of it is that, I'm sorry, it's about expressing yourself. So maybe right now you are actually discovering talents that you haven't, that you didn't know you had, or you're rediscovering them, or maybe you now have time to be busy with these things, your talents and things, because it is sacred life force as well, and creativity, inspiration, and so on. And also because we have the other card for you for that has to do with expressing yourself with that, and that's a throat chakra card. And that's self-expression. So again, expressing yourself. And both the navel chakra and the throat chakra are about expressing yourself, just differently, right? I just explained how it works for this chakra. This is more the vocal part, right? With your voice, how you express it that way. And I do think it's important that you keep saying what you need and what you like and what you don't like so much. Also to yourself. I think it's also for yourself. That is really very important. And it can also be that, for instance, you're feeling like, well, I really miss a hug. I would so love to be hugged right now. I would so love to be held. And when I'm a bit afraid or worried or stressed, I wished I had a partner who could hold me. Whatever it is for you. It's also important to vocalize that for yourself. It helps you if you do that. It really helps to bring that out in the open, even if you're alone, right? To say it out loud. And also, this is also to other people. So if you are with other people at work or family or friends, whatever it is, make sure that you do not shut up too much, right? Suppress what you actually need and what you actually want and that stuff. I'm not certain why that comes up, but I feel that way. That maybe because of the situation, you get a tendency to not express yourself anymore, to just let things happen, to just settle, because it's better to be with my friends than to be alone. And you should be lucky that you can have that evening with friends, and other people are alone now, and blah blah blah. So you better just put up with it. Maybe it's something like that. Well, sort that. You do not have to put up with it, and you shouldn't put up with it because, well, sometimes it might actually be better to be by yourself another evening than to put up with stuff that damages you, right? So it could be something like that as well. It's just an example. That won't be for everyone, but it is an example. It doesn't really matter what it is exactly. It is all about expression, self-expression, being authentic, right? In every sense of the word, right? So physically, but also vocally. And then your last card, and I so love this, it's a phoenix. I love phoenix energy. Renewal and rebirth. Examine what you resist discarding. So there could be something that you have to let go of. Reassess what needs to be renewed and given a fresh start. Well, this could be an excellent time for that because many people, I don't know about your situation, of course, it's not a personal reading, but many people at the moment are either working less or not working or working from home. And even people who work at home at the moment, and in my country, that's a lot of office workers, almost everyone, they have more time now because they do not have to travel to work. And having to travel to work often means being stuck in traffic for an hour in the morning and back home an hour or maybe more even, you know. So there is more time. And in that sense, it's an excellent time to rediscover yourself. I spoke of that, didn't I, just now? Talents, new talents. So it's a good time to also with other stuff. It's not just talents, but what needs to be renewed and given a fresh start, and what can be maybe discarded, etc. Clean up all the things around you that are cluttering your life. And that will be mostly literally, right? And it will help to declutter your energy system and your thoughts and your mood, etc. If you indeed declutter, especially the room that you're in the most, right, during the day. I do also feel, again, that this has to do with this creative, sacred life force. That maybe now you are getting closer to who you really are, what you really need in life, and how you actually want to live your life. I've heard that from someone, my hairdresser. She told me that last time I was there. That she actually discovered that the way she's living now with her husband and children is so much better. The quality of her life has increased so much now because of the lockdown, because not being able to go anywhere much, right? And she said, well, normally I was gone for with friends, doing this, doing that, rushing here, rushing there. At the moment, it's not possible. And so she spends more time with her husband and her kids at home or doing things together, maybe going for a walk or whatever, right? And that the quality of their life, of her life, but also as a family, has improved, increased so much. And she said, I do not want to go back to the way it was before this happened. And she said, I heard that from more people. And I feel that could be this. And I actually feel that could be your entire thingy, in your entire reading, in all three cards. So maybe that goes for you as well. If that is the case, if that rings true for you, then see that. Be aware of that and get strength from that, right? And that will get you through any negativity and any fear and stress, etc., etc. As long as you can see what good has come out for you or is on its way, to come out for you and your family, maybe, right? Anyhow, I hope it resonates and is helpful for you, and I wish you a lot of luck. And let's keep our fingers crossed that the entire situation is going to be over as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. All right, number 3. Your first card, the best thing for you to do or behave, etc., to get through this is a root chakra card, and we have home, shelter, safety, nurturing, warmth. For you, it's important to stay close to home, and I'm not per se talking literally. Although I do think that will be part of it, but it's more figuratively. Don't go out of your comfort zone where you feel at home and good and safe and secure for too long, right? Make sure you rest regularly, and so I do think that if you jump too far at the moment outside of your comfort zone, I think you're going to wobble. I think you are then going to be affected by whatever is going on. And that's a lot as well at the moment. And maybe you are in a situation where you have to venture out and be in that stress and anxiety a lot for your work, for instance, because that can happen. People who work in hospitals or police officers or there are plenty of other people that still work at the moment and have to go out there every day for their work because it's not possible to do it at home. They are exposed to this stress and fear and anger and whatever is whizzing around there, all that stuff, right? So then when you're home, you will likely need your time to recuperate, to recharge the battery. Take that time. Even if you do not have to go out to work and are exposed to it, like I just explained, do take time to recover and recuperate, recharge the battery, because for you is very, very important, right? To feel stable. And I feel that very strongly. Maybe you need more sleep as well. Make sure, because this cutie, he's sort of snoozing, sleeping there, right? Make sure you get your hours sleeping. And if we have another root chakra card, grounding, right? So again, it's important to make sure you stay stable. And you really need to work on grounding. Do that quite regularly and do it in a solid way, right? In a good, if you do that with meditations, don't do 5 minutes meditating roots out of your feet. That doesn't really work all that well. Do a solid, proper grounding meditation, and that can take up 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. If you want a really good grounding meditation. And the more you do that, the faster you will get there again, and the longer your meditation, your grounding cord is gonna last, right? So it is worth it to invest that time in the beginning if you're not used to doing that. Spending time in nature is also can also be very helpful. If you can, right? Not everyone has that opportunity, but if you can, it can be helpful. Because it's also very grounding, but it's also, it can give you energy, and it can calm you, and it can be soothing and stabilize you to be in nature. And it can just be really nice. And if you go into nature, you can even be with other people, right? Well, in most places anyway, as long as you keep that distance of over here it's 1.5 meters. In the UK it's 2 meters, but as long as you keep that distance, you can go for a walk with someone. So you can socialize a little bit with someone you know, or whatever, whatever you need, whatever is important to you. But this is also recharging the battery, getting enough sleep. Make sure you do not go outside of your comfort zone for too long, for as little as possible, as little as your work or life situation allows you to. And then your last card, we have flow. You cannot control life's events, and you can only control how you deal with them. And that's also very important, especially if maybe you don't feel so stable at the moment. And I don't think you do, because we have 2 root chakra cards, which is all about feeling stable, feeling strong, feeling safe, feeling secure, etc., etc. Then don't go to trying to control things, right? Because it's easier, it costs less energy, and it's healthier to just go with the flow. There's too many things going on right now that you cannot control, that you cannot fight, that you cannot resist, that you cannot do anything about, and that you just have to accept and work within your own limits of what's possible for you, of what you have to do at the moment. Work within that area and make the best of it and go with the flow. Don't try to control things. Don't try to control people, how people are behaving, and right, because there is this dichotomy at the moment in between groups of people, and like, for instance, the pro-vaccine and the anti-vaccine, and the way they are talking to each other is not particularly pretty oftentimes. So maybe you tend to get involved in that online on social media or with people around you, and then you try to maybe convert them or whatever to change their mind. But don't do that. Just don't do that. Don't do anything that is costing you energy. If you can help it, right? I mean, if work costs you energy, well, yeah, you still have to go to work. That's not what I mean. It's easier to go with the flow when life challenges you. Emotions can overflow unless you release them. Yeah. So that's really very important. And again, we see this woman in nature and releasing emotions and excess of negative energies. I said, you need your grounding for that. You can release, let go of all that shit via your grounding cord. So it's really important. Maybe water can help you as well, because we have so much water here. So a shower, a bath, maybe just moving your hand through water like that, in a plastic thingy in the kitchen, and maybe just a bucket of water or whatever, and have lukewarm water in there, or if you prefer cold water, whatever, and just move your hand slowly through that water and really feel it, how it just moves through your fingers. And if you close your fingers like that and you then try to move your hand through it, how it then pushes away the water molecules, right? And it starts to create waves in the water, and just play with it. And it can be so much fun to do that. We hardly ever do stuff like that, but it's so good for our inner child, and it can help also release and let go, but get into a more playful vibration, and so it's not so heavy anymore. So anyhow, I do hope this resonates and is helpful for you, and let's hope and keep our fingers crossed that this entire situation is going to be over as soon as possible. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.